pleasant day to everyone. In this video, we will talk about the branches of the Philippine government. Let's start with the definition of the legislative branch. This branch is authorized to make laws through the power vested in the Philippine Congress. This institution is divided into the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate is composed of 24 senators who are elected at large by the qualified voters of the Philippines. On the other hand, the House of Representatives is composed of not more than 250 members, 20% of which must come from party-list representatives. Currently, the Senate is headed by the Senate President, Mr. Vicente C. Soto III, and the House of Representatives is headed by the Speaker of the House, Lord Alan J. Quinto Velasco. Here are the qualifications for being senators and House representatives. They must be a natural-born citizen of the Philippines, can read and write, and a registered voter. Also, a Senate must be at least 35 years old and a representative must be at least 25 years old on the day of election. And last, a Senate must be a resident of the Philippines for not less than 2 years and a representative must be a resident of the Philippines for not less than a year for the election day. The primary function of both houses and the legislative branch as a whole is to create, enact, and amend the different laws that exist in our country. It is their job to propose laws that they think that are beneficial to the welfare of the citizens of the Philippines. One example of the notable enacted law during President Duterte's administration is the RA number 10931 or the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act.
The executive branch is mentioned in Article 7 and according to Section 2 and 3, the President and Vice President must meet the same qualifications in order to be elected. They must be a natural-born Filipino citizen, a registered voter, able to read and write, at least 40 years old on the day of the election, and a 10-year resident of the Philippines. The executive department structures are as follows: President, Vice President, and Cabinet officials. And its current members are Rodrigo Roa Duterte as President, Maria Leonor Robredo as Vice President, and several cabinet secretaries who serve as the President's alter ego, carrying out the power of the President's office in their respective departments with his authority. Its functions and powers of the government are as follows. As you've seen, the seventh power is the power to veto laws. Its concrete example is the President's power to refuse to approve a bill or joint resolution and thus prevents its enactment into law.
According to the 1987 Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines, Article 8, Section 7, Part 1, the qualifications to be appointed to the Supreme Court are as follows. He must be a natural-born citizen of the Philippines. He must be at least 40 years of age. He must have for 15 years or more been a judge of a lower court or engaged in the practice of law in the Philippines. He must be a person of proven competence, integrity, probity, and independence. The structure of Judicial Department. Pursuant to the provisions of the 1987 Constitution, the Supreme Court is composed of a Chief Justice and 14 Associate Justices who serve until the age of 70. The following are the members of the court under Duterte administration. Functions or powers. According to the 1987 Constitution, Article 8, Section 5, the Supreme Court exercises the following powers. The Supreme Court had a power to invalidate legislation enacted by Congress. One example is the Cybercrime Prevention Act of 2012. On February 18, 2014, the Supreme Court released a decision that declared Cybercrime Prevention Act unconstitutional, claiming that it violates the following provisions of the Philippine Constitution.
The Philippine government takes place in an organized framework of a presidential representative and democratic republic whereby the president is both the head of state and the head of government. This system revolves around the three separate and sovereign yet interdependent branches: the legislative branch, the lawmaking body, the executive branch, the law enforcing body, and the judicial branch, the law interpreting body. Under the separation of powers, each branch of government has a specific function. The legislative branch, the Congress, make the law. The executive branch, the President, implement the law. The judiciary, the court system, interprets the law and decide legal controversies. The Constitution divided the government into three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. That was an important decision because it gave specific powers to each branch and set up something called checks and balances. Just like the phrase sound, the point of checks and balances was to make sure no one branch would be able to control too much power and created a separation of power. Here are some examples of how the different branches work together.